everyone, and welcome back to our channel. We are here for another over 40 foundation test, and I've got something to say to let you guys know, because you know what? I was going to test the YSL new foundation, as I received a lot of requests for it. But that's changed, and you want to know why? Stay tuned. Instead, we're going to take a peek at Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. So stay tuned. Whew. Okay, so let's get my hair back. Excuse my hair, I just washed it. So if you guys don't know, I do not dry my hair. I let it air dry. Okay. Now, I wanted to let you guys, just to start off real quick, I've got a quick rant. Just, you don't want to hear it? Skip on past, but I've got a few things to say about YSL's newest foundation. Now, the foundation I'm speaking of, I received a lot of requests. It's called the All Hours Full Coverage Foundation. And I got a lot of requests from people on social media wanting me to test this foundation out. I watched some reviews online. Everybody loved it. Not a bad thing to say about it. Excuse my brain if I'm... The holiday weekend always screws me up. This is Tuesday. I keep thinking it's Monday. I'm all messed up. Anyways, so I head to the store. And I think I'm going to pick this up and try it because it looks like a beautiful foundation. Don't hear any complaints about it from anybody. Let's see how it performs on mature skin. So I get there. The gal behind the counter is testing me for color. And she puts a good sized amount on my skin here. And I felt this real just odd sensation, and I asked her, can I see the bottle, please? Because I always look at ingredients. It's just kind of a, you know, just something I've always done. I do it with food. I do it with products. Anyways, I look at the ingredient list, and I just about shit my pants then and there, and I'm not kidding you. I know that sounds crude. But for those of you that don't know, real quick, on the ingredients list, on anything, it doesn't matter if it's a food product, if it's a cosmetics product, the first ingredient listed, that means that product contains the most of that ingredient. All the way down to the last ingredient listed, that means that product contains the least amount of this ingredient. The third product listed, and approximately, I think there's about 26, 27 ingredients in that foundation, if I remember correctly. The third ingredient listed is denatured alcohol. Now, I literally had to stop and read it again, and stop and read it again. You know, kind of when you read something and it just doesn't compute in your brain and you have to kind of go back and read it again. Maybe you're reading a novel and there's a section you read and it just doesn't stick in your brain. You got to go back and read it again. I had to do that 3 different times before it really sank in at what I was looking at. And I turned to the gal that was behind the counter after, you know, she's waiting there expectantly to see what I think of the shade. And I'm like, have you read the ingredients list of this? And she's like, no. Why? Okay, now I want to just give you a real briefer here. I will put information down below about denatured alcohol. But let me say this first off. There are good alcohols and there are bad alcohols. There are alcohols that have a large molecular size. There are alcohols that have a smaller molecular size. Some are very good for your skin. There are other alcohols that are very bad for your skin that do things like break down the collagen in your skin, break down the upper layers of your skin surface, dry your skin out. Denatured alcohol, guess where that lands? Denatured alcohol is one of those alcohols that is probably one of the worst you can put on your skin. Now, honest to God, I looked at her and I said, do you realize that there's denatured alcohol in this as the third ingredient? And she looked at me and said, well, what's denatured alcohol? I brought up this page right here. on my phone. This exact page, I've left it here so that I could show you guys and read to you. And I'll put a link for this down below. This is Paula's Choice. And she has a really good, quick, to the point article here about alcohol. Now, if you don't want to hear this, just zip forward, hit the fast forward. But I want to read this to you guys so that those of you that are interested can actually be educated about this, because the fact that YSL, a luxury brand that caters to mature women, let alone. Luxury brands have been known to cater to mature women. That's just the way it is. Are there younger women and men using their products now? Of course, yeah, it's become the in thing. But for years and years and years, brands like Estee Lauder and Dior and Chanel and, YSL, they all pretty much catered to the more older clientele. So to find denatured alcohol as the third ingredient in this product, just about I literally was shocked shitless. So here, let me just read this real quick. Alcohol refers to a group of organic compounds with a vast range of forms and uses in cosmetic and other types of products and solutions. For skin, there are good alcohols and there are bad alcohols, corresponding to a high molecular weight alcohols and low molecular weight alcohols, respectively, which can have emollient properties, cetyl alcohol, or act as detergent cleansing agents like isopropyl. Isopropyl is what you buy at the drugstore to, clean wounds or whatever. There are also benign forms, including glycols, which are used as humectants to help hydrate and deliver ingredients into skin's uppermost layers. Alcohols with low molecular weights, the bad for the skin type, can be drying and sensitizing. The alcohols to be concerned about in skincare products are ethanol or ethyl alcohol, denatured alcohol, which breaks down into ethyl alcohol, I might add, methanol, isopropyl alcohol, SD alcohol, and benzyl alcohol. The concern is when one or more of these are listed among the main ingredients. Tiny amounts in an otherwise good formula are not a problem, and that's where I have a problem with this foundation. It is listed as the third ingredient, which means it is without a doubt the main ingredient in this foundation other than water. In addition to being drying and sensitizing, these alcohols can disrupt skin's surface layers. Disrupt skin's surface layers. This is no joke, people. Alcohol helps ingredients like retinol and vitamin C's penetrate into the skin more effectively, but it does that by breaking down the surface layer of the skin, destroying the very substances that keep your skin feeling healthier and looking healthier over the long term. Alcohols like SD and denatured alcohol immediately, that's the key, immediately harm the skin, starting a chain reaction of damage that continues long after the alcohol's evaporated. A 2003 study published found that with regular exposure, now you tell me, are you going to be regularly exposed to your foundation if it has denatured alcohol in it? Are you going to be regularly exposed to it? Regular exposure to alcohol-based products, cleansing becomes a damaging ordeal. Skin is no longer able to keep water and cleansing agents form penetrating into it, thus further eroding the surface layers. Basically what that means, they're talking about cleansing agents here because it's probably not real common to put denatured alcohol in freaking foundation. Okay? But what that basically means is that the more you're exposed to it, and in the higher concentration you're exposed to it, the more damage it does. It's literally breaking down the surface layers of your skin. It's breaking down the collagen that holds your skin together. What the fuck at YSL? Excuse my language, but damn! It also destroyed the substances in skin that help to naturally soothe and defend against visible effects of environmental damage. If that weren't bad enough, exposure to alcohol causes healthy substances in skin to literally self-destruct. The research also showed that these destructive aging effects on skin substances increase the longer there was exposure to the alcohol. God, oh man, I'm telling you. That is 2 days of exposure was dramatically more harmful than 1 day, and that is only an exposure to 3% concentration. Now you tell me. I don't know the percentage of denatured alcohol in that foundation because they don't list it, but it's the third ingredient out of approximately 26, so how much percentage do you think is in there? The third ingredient. That means there are only 2 ingredients, one of which is water. There are only 2 ingredients that are higher in concentration than the denatured alcohol. So do you think there's more than 3% concentration of it in there? I do. Idiot. Most skincare products with denatured alcohol contain greater amounts than 3%. In short, for healthy appearance of skin at any age, avoid products that contain high amounts of the drying, sensitizing types of alcohol. Anyways, like I said, I'll put all that down below, and I'm sorry for putting this rant in here. This was supposed to be my YSL review, but you know what? I'm sorry, but it's not going on my skin, and if I were you, I wouldn't put it on yours. You know, that's what frustrates the hell out of me about this, and that's why I needed to say this now. I'm hoping, praying, that especially mature women, all people who wear foundation should be concerned about this. It's just that simple. But especially mature women who are already fighting signs of aging. We're already fighting the collagen breakdown in our skin and the elasticity of our skin. The last thing we need to do is wear a foundation that has denatured alcohol in it. And what pisses me off beyond that is that 1, the people selling the products have no clue what they're selling. 2, that YSL would put it in there to begin with. There's no reason. I'd like to know, YSL, if you ever see this, please tell me, why'd you put denatured alcohol as the third ingredient in your foundation? Why? Please tell me. In addition to that, you know, I think an informed consumer is a powerful consumer. And we, as consumers, pack a punch. If we put our voices together and say, no, we don't want this, get rid of it, or we're not buying your products, companies will listen. Write YSL on social media. Tell them you don't want denatured alcohol in your products. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't want it in there at all, let alone as the top third ingredient. But you know what just kills me? Is I literally... You know, I watched a few reviews before I left and went to get it just because I wanted to see what younger people were thinking about it. When I got back from the store with the Giorgio Armani, I sat down and watched a few more. I wanted to see if there was one person that said anything about it. And do you know, I probably watched... probably seven or 8 reviews I watched from top reviewers with a lot of subscribers. And they bragged about this foundation like there was no tomorrow. And not one of them said a thing about there being denatured alcohol in it. And I watched, one of the gals I watched has skin that's very damaged already. She has, you know, bad acne and rosacea. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, do you know what you're putting on your skin? You know, it just, this is the important part. So you know what? When you buy a product, take 2 seconds to turn the damn box over and read the ingredients in it, okay? Be an informed consumer. Because I'm telling you, all these reviewers out there that are pushing this YSL foundation, this all-night full coverage foundation, and wonderful and so beautiful. It may be beautiful, it may look beautiful, but guess what? It's ruining your skin. Yeah, great. So you buy their foundation, it ruins your skin, and then you have to turn around and buy skincare to try and repair the damage. That's what my daughter said when I told her about this. I'm like, yeah, you're a smart little bud, aren't you? Anyway, so, long story short, you will not be seeing the YSL foundation on my face. There's no way in God's green earth that I will put that on my skin. I take very good care of my skin. I am not interested in putting something on it that is going to do immediate damage. And when I say immediate damage, I mean immediate damage. Denatured alcohol, if there's one thing other than, you know, you want to just go for some straight up acids, have at it. But you know, if there's one thing you literally can put on your skin that will damage your skin and quickly, is denatured alcohol. Because it literally, and the thing that just kills me about this is that this isn't a foundation. This isn't something that on the whole most women will wear daily, and men. You know, just consider everything I say is women and men. On the whole, these are products that we use daily. And the fact that they would put ingredient as one of the top 3 ingredients, I cannot stress that enough, that is so damaging to the skin. YSL, what are you thinking? Give me one reason. Give me one reason, just one, why you need to put denatured alcohol in it, let alone as a top ingredient. No. Sorry. So anyways, you gotta forgive me. I'm sorry if you don't like hearing me rant, but you know what? I feel it's my job, not only as a consumer, I'm not interested in paying that much money for products that are going to ruin my skin. Then, like my daughter says, I have to turn around and pay more money for products to try and heal the damage. No effing thank you. But you know what? It's my job as a reviewer, and I take it seriously. I may just do this for fun, but I take it seriously. If I'm dealing with a company who's got a just shitty owner and I think that they've got problems and you shouldn't buy from them, I'm going to tell you. If I think they're not ethical, I'm going to tell you. If there's a product that's on the market, I don't care how everybody out there is saying it's amazing and it's wonderful, it's damaging to your skin. I'm going to tell you. And if YSL doesn't like it, I'm sorry. I adore YSL's products. Their Volute Oil Shine, one of my all-time favorites. As you guys know, I've bragged about it up to the yin-yang. I literally adore their products, but I will not put this foundation on my face, and I highly suggest you don't either. And if I were you, I would pass this along to your friends and friends and family and friends that you know that wear makeup as well, especially the luxury makeup lovers out there, because I'm telling you, people are not reading the ingredient list in these things. Okay, enough about that. I'm so fired up about this, I'm sure you can tell actually, huh? Okay, so I started off with my almost gone Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Magic Eye Rescue, which I love, and of course my Magic Cream, which I always start with. Now, instead of getting the YSL, which I had planned on, I picked up the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in shade 2. I guess they don't have a shade 1. Kind of weird. I also picked up the Luminous Silk Powder. I'm real curious about that because I don't know how you can get a silk and a powder, so that'll be interesting to see. And I also picked up the High Precision Retouch because I want to see what it does here. Now, part of the problem, I look like I have these big giant bags under my eyes, or dark circles. Believe it or not, these are not all dark circles. What happens is because, again, we're talking about collagen breakdown here, losing the collagen under your skin, all that, what makes you pluff and pumpy and tight. The elasticity of your skin starts going bye-bye as you get older. And what happens, you see it first, in my opinion, in the eyes. And your under eyes lose all that nice fatty, that plump fat that was underneath your eyes that pumped them out. I need some fillers. That's what I want. I want some fillers. Seriously. Anyways, so what happens as a result is you get these big hollowed out areas and, light hits at angles and it casts shadows. And this whole area here, when it hollows out, casts this big shadow there. So that's what, I have just very light dark circles here. I don't have real big dark circles, just, Anyways, even though I don't sleep that much, my dark circles aren't that bad, but they look like they're a lot bigger than they are because of that hollowing out of my eyes. So I try to kind of combat that with lightening this area right here. And I also use a concealer that's that's closer to my skin tone instead of using a bright white under there like a lot of people do. So anyways, let's get busy. I'm going to start off with, I'm really finding I'm enjoying this, you guys. This is the Tarte Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer. And this is very heavy in dimethicone. And it does have oil in it, so I don't know how it's going to mix with a water-based foundation. But I don't use it in heavy concentration. It's like a real thick paste, if you can see that. Actually, why don't I zoom in? Anyways, I just use a real light layer of this over course, I probably should be using a different primer, a water-based primer, but to be honest, well, you know what? Oh, hell. You know, I'm going to see how this does, and if this doesn't, then I'll take out I have the Guerlain L'Eau. That is, I think that's that and my Too Faced coconut one are the only primers I have that are water-based. I don't have a lot of them. What I like about this, though, is it has a real smoothing. You know, it's not real heavy unless, you know, you want it to be. I mean, you can apply it heavy, but I don't. I just put a real smooth, real light layer over my skin. And it does work really nice for, like, over here in the corner of my eyes, filling in those wrinkles a little bit. So, but I've been real happy with this primer so far. And there's not a lot of, or pore filler, whatever you want to call it. I think that's more a pore filler than a primer. But I'm telling you, I have not been happy with a lot of them that I've been using. It's just, I don't know. Primers and me, I just haven't found one I like. Okay, and now I'm just going to really quickly, this is my Pure Hydrogel Lift. I do, even though I already put the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream under my eyes, Magic Rescue, whatever. I really like using this. This, not only does it feel good, I'm almost out of it. That's all I've got left. Oh my god. It's like I'm running out of all of my top favorite items right now. This kills me. And speaking of Charlotte Tilbury, I should have probably right after this, let's see, this is Tuesday, so I'll probably have this up, I imagine, Friday. Okay, now I'm thinking, let's see here. You know, I'm going to start off, let's start off with this retoucher here. Drives me nuts. This is the Luminous Silk Foundation. The only thing that drives me nuts about these, though, is because the powder is like right there on top of the mirror gets all blech. Anyways, this is just a little tiny guy here. I mean, you only get, geez, 0.14 fluid ounces. Not very much. So, and it's got a very tiny little, I guess that's why they call it the retoucher, huh? So let's see how the retoucher does in kind of helping to disappear my little dark circle area here. And I actually think this would be, I'd use this for redness too, for blocking out redness, not just blocking out the darkness under my eyes. Let's see how she does. Oh, wow. That is really pigmented, you guys. Look at that. I mean, that's really pigmented. Holy cow. I have such light skin and such thin skin on my upper eyelids that all my veins show through. I wonder if this will... Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I think I just found another use for this product. Of course, that kind of stinks because that'll just mean I go through it all the faster. But, heck, if it'll, you know... I mean, those veins are all blue, so why not? Let's try her out and see. You know, the problem I have is, like, I used to use, like, Mac's Paint Pot and Painterly on my eyelids to, you know, before my eyeshadow and stuff, to block them all out and have a nice clean canvas without my darn veins showing through. But as I've gotten older, no matter how much I moisturize my eyelids, they're dry. And I just find that it's just, when I put it on there, it's so drying. And so, it just looks crap, not, I was going to say crappy, crepe-like. It literally looks crepe-like when I put it on. It ages my lids just horribly. And I miss it so much because I used it for so many years. But not anymore. But I passed my new one down to my daughter and she was thrilled with that. So kind of fun that seeing the products that I used to use that my daughter's now using, you know? God, I'll tell you. Well, that did look at that. I mean, that did a pretty good job. It didn't completely eliminate my veins from showing through on the top. I just wanted to try it out and see how it worked. I mean, clearly it's meant to hide the discoloration under your eyes, but I mean, look at that. That's not bad, is it, you guys? Especially considering, I mean, I don't know if you can see kind of the sheen to it. It's not drying at all. It's not drying under the eyes, and it's not drying on my eyes, which I was really worried about. Because I can't use anything that's drying on my eyes like that. So far, my first impression of this little guy, I was a little taken aback at how much it was. And I'll put links for everything down below and prices on the screen like I always do, so you guys have that information, because I don't remember offhand how much I paid for it, but I think it was around $40 for this. But I was a little thrown off by the price at first, but if it keeps performing like this, then Mama's gonna be one happy camper. Okay, let's get this. I don't know if this is gonna be the right shade or not. It's funny because in the bottle, it like looks gray. Really weird. But this has 1 fluid ounce, and again, this is his Luminous Silk. He has another one out. Oh, I forget what it's called. What the hell is it called? Power Fabric Foundation, I think is what it's called. Is this newest one. I almost got that, but I wanted to try the Luminous Silk first because, you know, I have dry skin. And I guess he doesn't have a shade 1 because 2 is the lightest one I could find. So, and again, and it comes with a pump, frosted glass bottle, so it's real pretty. I mean, it's, you know, I don't expect anything less, though. So I'm going to move my mirror in front here so I can see what the heck I'm doing. I think, well, let's see how this color, I think what I'm going to do is try it with a beauty blender on half my face and then try it with a brush on the other half. Oops. Let's see how the coverage is. So I'm just going to use my normal black beauty blender here. This is I think this is the Pro one. Well, that's got, so there's 1 layer. You can see there's the side that's not done. And there's the side that is. And it definitely has a luminosity to it. Look at this. I literally, right here, I don't know if you guys can see, but right there, there, and there, those are not pimples. Those are bug bites. Yeah, right. Actually, there's 4. There's 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So the little sucker was going, num, num, num. Let's move a little. Num, num. Let's move a little more. Num, num. Oh, let's take another bite. Num, num. Snarfing on me while I was asleep. And I woke up to that. Okay, well, anyways, it looks like, I mean, it applied real nice over that Tarte, the primer. I was worried that the two were gonna not mix because that Tarte primer has oil base to it, and this is water based, isn't it? Yeah, this is water based, but it applied really nice over that. It applied really nice, of course, over his own retoucher, which I would expect it to. Oh, what do you guys think? That's 1 layer. I mean, I can still see my freckles. Yeah, Jesus. That's the funny thing, is that this is all in fashion now of people putting freckles on their face. And I'm looking at myself and I'm going, I'm almost 50 years old and I've been trying to get rid of my freckles my entire life. And there's people out there putting freckles on them. Isn't that funny how we like what we don't have, what we haven't grown accustomed to looking at in the mirror. We like something different. Okay, so now I'm going to try a foundation brush. How about this one? This is my Sigma F80 Flat Kabuki. So let's see. I'm just going to pat it in at first. Let's see what the coverage is like with this. I still can't get over the fact that YSL, oh god, it just chaps my ass so big time. And I was so excited to try it. Oh my god. But there's absolutely no way in God's green earth I am putting that on my face. Now, I know I've gone on about this already, but I just can't stress enough how bad it is. And of course, you guys are consumers, and I just want to inform you, and, it's your skin and to do with as you please. But if it were me, not only would I not wear it, and I'm not going to, but I would never recommend, you will never catch me, at least if I have any knowledge of it, recommending a product that's damaging to your skin. Okay. Well, so there it is with the brush. Two together. It's one layer. And there it is with the sponge application. Now, of course, this feels like this still feels a little, has kind of a little tacky feeling to it. This feels still tacky, but I can feel this side set down a little more. I would call this maybe a light, a light medium coverage. It looks like I got a little heavier coverage on the side where I use the sponge because, like right here, I have another new fun effing thing of aging is I now have some brand new little broken, tiny little spider veins that are broken here in my cheek. And that was primed to wake up to see that. So I want to try and see if it can build. And I'm actually going to go back to the sponge because I mean, there's no problem applying it with a brush. I think I just like the way, not only do I like the feel of the sponge, but yeah, I think it gets a little bit better coverage with the sponge. And it is buildable. Because now I don't know if you guys can see that section where I could see some little spider veins there. It's now magically gone. Let's try a tiny bit more. Right over here. And by the way, if you want to, like let's say you've got an area that that you need a lot of coverage in, but you don't want to keep building up and building up and building up coverage because then you get that, cakey, nasty look going. I'm telling you, all you have to do is take, however much of your product you need to cover the area. Like let's do right here where that nice little bite is showing. And all you have to do is put it on that, and then I'm just going to gently tap it all over and around it. Like that. I'm going to leave it just sit there for a minute. Because what happens is, literally you can take a light covered foundation and make it medium, or you can take a medium coverage foundation and make it like a medium high cover foundation simply by letting it sit on your face for a little bit before you blend in. Now obviously some foundations, depends on the drying time of your foundation, you don't want to let it completely dry. But like now, let's just pat that over. Yeah, da-da-da-da. See him right there? You can still see him a tiny bit, but much better. Anyways, but basically what you're doing is just letting the moisture evaporate a little bit out of the foundation before you go to blend it in. And if the moisture's evaporated out a little bit, then you're left with pigment. So, okay, now for my under eyes, I am going to go to what has become my favorite concealer I think I've found yet to date, and that is the By Terry Terribly Denseless Concealer. Now I did buy the wrong shade because online, this is shade 2. And I almost always buy the lightest shade of everything, and here's what the box looks like, by the way. But online, shade 2 looked lighter than shade 1. But then I got it, and it definitely need shade 1. And that's what the applicator looks like. It's like by Terry's. If you've used by Terry products at all, her applicators are all like this. Even her lip applicators are like this, where they're flat on both sides, and they're very soft. I love her applicators. So I'm just going to put this down here, and then because this is very moisturizing, I can actually coat my lid in this and not have a problem. And I have dry skin. Well, I should say I have dry to normal skin. There's areas in my skin that are very normal. It's more the outermost part of my face that's really dry. But this concealer, you guys, oh my God. And now I'm going to do the same thing here that you saw me do just now with the foundation. And that is, I'm going to use my finger, and I'm just going to very gently pat it in, just so that it kind of, what I'm doing is, my light just went out here. What I'm doing is just basically making it have more contact with the skin. And at the same time, spreading it out so that the moisture in it evaporates. I love this concealer. Now you'll notice it's not brightening under my eyes. It's actually, if it was a little bit lighter, then it'd be perfect because it'd be right at my skin tone. So this one's actually a little too dark for me. But again, I don't like the stark white look under the eyes. In my opinion, to each his own, whatever you like to do. But in my opinion, it's not attractive on mature skin. Okay, so now I'm just going to go in and let it sit for a minute. You see how it finishes there? How nice that looks? The color blends in pretty much. I mean, like I said, it's a little dark, but it blends in real nice. And you don't see like lines of, the coverage is incredible, and I've bumped up the coverage further by just letting it sit for a minute. Now all I'm doing is just basically patting it to the skin to make it adhere to the skin, and evening out any areas that are that may have uneven product amount on them. But I pretty much did all the work the first time when I spread it out. And I've always applied my concealer like this since I was young and started wearing makeup. I mean, you can see my under eyes with no powder before I powder them. And I'm telling you, I've tried so many concealers, you guys. You have no idea how many concealers I've tried. This concealer is beautiful. Is it expensive? Yes, but I'm telling you, it's worth the money. If you are like me and you've had bought concealer, I mean, think about it. If I go out and buy 5 different concealers, high-end concealers, drugstore concealers, whatever. I go out and buy all these at the store. I'm spending on average, if you go to the drugstore, you're spending, $9 a pop? You go to the high-end concealers and you're spending upwards of $30 a pop. So even if you bought 2 or 3 of them and they didn't work out for you and they looked underneath your eyes or whatever, $60 on one and bam, you got a beautiful one. I'm telling you, it's gorgeous. Okay, now what I'm going to do for under my eyes is and speaking of by Terry, I got a little tiny sample. Look how tiny this is. Oh my God, look how small it is. Look at that. This is the by Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. You guys, I'm telling you, and that's the other thing too, is like, for instance, just out of habit, I'm going back to pat under there, but there's no creasing. I mean, I could probably leave this concealer for quite some time and it wouldn't crease. I've never tried it, but just feeling the way it is and seeing how it performs. Anyways, this is almost gone and it just kills. I mean, literally, I can barely get anything out of it now. You guys, this is a beautiful powder. I'm telling you, I've worn, again, just like with the concealers, the under eye area is probably, I'm just going to take it on my sponge and we're going to pat it right underneath my eye there. Just like with concealer, the under eye area as we age, I think is probably, in my experience, the toughest I gotta itch. The toughest area to deal with. Because, you know, that skin is so thin underneath there and it dries out so easy. And anything you put on it makes it dry out more. And it's just a nightmare to deal with. But these two products together, that concealer, I really want to try her foundation. I think it's called the Terribly Denseless Foundation, just like along with the rest of the line. Because if it's anything like this powder and the concealer, then I'm going to be sold. Because so far, I love these. This does not, I repeat, does not make my eyelids, upper or lower, feel dry. Just the opposite. And I think, but you know, again, it's not inexpensive. I think this powder, the full size, is $60 as well, I think. See if I can get, I'm trying to get as much as I can out of here because this is just about gone. Ah. And of course, the last thing I want to do is waste it. Yeah, it's just about gone. Oh my God. I just love this, you guys. I don't want it to be gone. I haven't been able to use it long because, you know, this little sample didn't come with a whole lot, but I'm sure grateful for what it did come with because it gave me an opportunity to try it and fall in love with it. That's what companies don't get. Boy, I'll tell you, it's worth their investment to send out, you know, samples, deluxe samples like this because, you know, customers get, especially on more expensive luxury items like this, because, you know, you get a chance to try it and fall in love with it. Anyways, I'm just taking this right around my nose and right here in my nose pore area as well. Pretty much down the center of my face is where I'm going to use this powder. Now, if I was using any other, and my smile lines in particular, then that'll stop them from creasing. Now, if I was using any other powder, besides maybe that Makeup Forever powder I love so much, I would not do this because it would dry out my skin so bad that it would just be it would be a mess. My nose itches so bad. Oh, itch. Oh, good Lord. But this powder just does not have that effect at all. Now, one other thing. Let's go and try this. I'm kind of worried whether this is going to be too heavy or not. Because this is the, what is the name of this? Luminous Silk Compact. Dual Use Powder Compact. And I also got this in shade 2. This is the CC Plus Skin Perfecting number 702. I love It Cosmetics brushes. Oh boy, this really picks up easy. Okay, and I'm just going to pat this on the rest of my skin and let's see how it looks, huh? Shall we? I got the 2 of these because I wanted to just try and see if this would, you know, because sometimes it's nice to just put a thin layer of foundation on because you don't want, you know, a bunch of heavy feeling, you know, foundation on your skin, but then have a matching powder that has pigment that can kind of give that coverage a bump, you know. That was kind of my thinking with trying these. And to see, because of the fact that this is called Luminous Silk, you know, as I just explained a few minutes ago with my problem with finding powders that don't dry my skin out. So I wanted to test this one and see. I would say that this probably, you know, over a foundation, it looks pretty. It looks real pretty, actually. But I don't, you know, I'd have to try it on its own. But looking at what it's done for my foundation, just stamping it in over my foundation, it doesn't look like it has a huge amount of coverage to it. You know what I mean? You can look at it white around my eyes. But it definitely added kind of a boost to the foundation, so I like that. And it doesn't, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see, but it doesn't look cakey or anything like that. It actually looks really pretty on the skin. I don't see any areas where it looks like I have a lot of product on my face, even though at this point I pretty much do. Not bad. So I'll be giving that one more. I'm be putting that one to more use. I'm just going to go over real quick here. Sorry, I gotta turn the fan on, you guys. Oh, it is still so, I'm sorry if you hear that, but I'm cooking in here. State of Washington. I am so tired. I'm so ready for fall. Who else out there is ready for fall? Base on with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in both the liquid and the powder compact. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go finish up my face, and I'll cut away from that because otherwise this video is going to be like an hour long, and I'll be right back. What I used on my face to finish all this off, just to start off here, I used my good old Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. You already know the foundation and all that because you saw that, and the powder and the concealer. And then for bronzer, I used the Marc Jacob Omega Bronzer in Tantastic. I used the Subculture palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills because I am still testing this out. I will have a full review for you guys soon on that. But because of all the, controversy about it, I want to test it out and test it good. So I give it a fair chance. And that's obviously what I'm wearing now. I used, since I'm out of my Cella brow pencil still, I used my Anastasia Brow Powder Duo, and then used my Cella Eyebrow Defining Gel, which I just ran out of too. And then, of course, my Lancome Booster XL, Cils Booster XL for the primer of the lashes. And then I had a little sample of this Benefit Roller Lash, and I've never tried that before, so I wanted to try that as well. And then I sprayed my face with the Marc Jacobs Recover Perfecting Coconut Setting Mist. And I think, oh no, whatever. And my blush today is, let's see here, Baked Gelato Vivid Swirl Blush in Papaya by Laura Geller. And hang on here, I have a little highlight on. I bought the wrong color, unfortunately, but this is Stila's Heaven's Hue highlighter, and I bought the color Kitten when I wanted the color Transcendence, but whatever. So it is definitely too dark on my skin. And then on my lips, I have the Long Wearing Lip Cream by Jouer in Cayenne, I believe. And on top of that, I have Jouer's Lip Topper in Rose Gold. And I will have a full review. I'm testing those out. And I will have a full review and lip swatch video coming on all of the lip toppers and a few of the liquid lipsticks I purchased as well. Let's give you an up-close look at my finished face. So there we go. You can see how the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk looks on my skin with all the products on top. And other than the Luminous Silk powder that you guys saw me use, I did not apply any other powder. Other than, obviously, my contour and bronzer, those powder products. But I did not apply any other translucent powder or anything. So, there we go. It is, just to give you a check-in here, it is now, ooh, Lord, 10:37 a.m. And, yeah, 10:37 a.m. Tuesday. God, I keep thinking it's Monday. It's got me totally screwed up. So I am going to leave this on and see how it wears throughout the day. I will come back and do a check-in with you at the end of the day before I get ready to take my makeup off. I'm probably not going to leave it on but maybe 5 hours or so today. But so far, I'm really impressed with how it looks. It doesn't, it's not... Sorry, I'm looking in the mirror here. It's not sinking into any fine lines that I have. It's not sinking into any outright wrinkles. My forehead still looks really good. And it took me probably an hour, I would say, to do the rest of my makeup. Maybe an hour and a half, just because I was taking time playing, and of course I'm working with the Subculture palette, which I like to really play around with, as you can see. So I actually like the way that my eye look turned out today with the Subculture. I wasn't sure if I would like, I mixed the two, oh god, what's it called? Adorn and Electric on my eyelid. The two the one metallic and then the one green duochrome. I wasn't sure if I'd like that, and I took it all the way into the inner corner of my eye, as hopefully you can see. But I wasn't sure if I'd like it, but once I did it, then I really liked the way it turned out. And I brought the Electric all the way down here on the eye, and then pulled the shadow out in kind of a wing. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? So anyways, I will be back in, I don't know, however many hours, the next check-in, and we'll see how the foundation holds up. Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk in the liquid and the powder. Bye! Okay, we are back for my final check-in on the two products, the Luminous Silk Foundation from Giorgio Armani in the liquid and the Luminous Silk Foundation in the powdered compact. So I'm going to zoom you in real quick for a sneak peek at what we look like. Okay, we're real close. Now excuse my eye makeup and lips and all that, because this makeup's been on for hours. It is now 8:30, so I've had this on since 10:30. Not bad. And let me get a look in my mirror here. You have to excuse me too, I'm sweating. It's so hot. So I really put this foundation to the test because it is hot here today. But from what I can see, other than, let me dab myself a little. Okay, that's a little bit better. So let's take a look here. As you can see, the makeup that I put on top of the foundation has held beautifully. I don't even see my contour still there, my bronzer, my blush. It looks like I have a little tiny bit of it breaking up here around my chin and around my nose. Down at the bottom here I can see some discoloration breaking through. It held on top of my nose, which is great because sometimes, especially I rub my nose a lot, so that's probably why this is worn off down here. And the other side looks good. Everything's held up real nice. My smile lines down here, I see a little bit. It looks like my chin is the place where it's really broken up the most. It's held really nice. And I'm sweating too, as I'm sure you can see, because it is really hot. Not only is it hot here, but then I've got all the, I'm in front of all these lights, so it really amps up the heat. And my under eye areas look incredible. And of course, you saw the products I used there, but I also took the liquid foundation and went over my eyelids and my under eye area too. So there's no creasing that I can see. The product is still there great. Here my eyes messed up because it's watering. I don't know if it's the glitter from this electric glitter that I put around my inner eye here. I do have really sensitive eyes, so I'm not sure if it's the mascara. I tried the Roller Lash by Benefit for the first time, but this eye just started watering like crazy, so that's why I'm missing stuff there. But the other eye looks great. There's nothing missing from that one. So I have to say, for first impressions, I have to say I'm really impressed with both of these. They, they're not making my skin look more aged. I think my skin looks you know, it looks really nice. I mean, especially considering I've had this on now for, what, 10 hours? I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, yeah, and with heat and sweating and everything else, and it's all stayed on real good. The only area that I notice any real difference, the nose issue is my fault, because like I said, I've been rubbing my nose a lot. With here in Washington State, we've got wildfires all around us, so it's really weird because when you look outside and the sun's not, it's out, but you know, you can't see it because there's so much ash in the air, and it puts this like red, yellow, brown, I mean, like the color of my eyeshadow there, that's the kind of cast it puts everywhere. It's just awful. But anyways, and we've got real high temperatures like in the 80s and 90s on top of it. So it's just awful outside. And it's just, ooh. Anyways, long story short, that's been wreaking havoc with my allergies and everything. And so, but other than that, and the eye that I mucked up here, the only place I see that any real wear that I can't attribute to me is around my chin. But this is the one area just right here. I don't know if you can see, but I don't have a lot of texture on my cheeks, you know, and I don't have a lot of texture on my forehead, but I do have wrinkles, of course. This is where I have my texture for some reason. So, and this is all new, all this texture here. I never used to, my skin's always been fairly smooth. But, you know, I take real good care of it, so. But anyways, long story short, I have to say, I really like these for first impression. For reference, for those of you who don't know, I'm 48 years old. So, you know, I've got just about every challenge you can think of to deal with, you know, I've got dry skin, I've got, you know, the lack of collagen and elasticity in my skin that happens with aging. I've got dry skin on top of it. So, you know, it's not very often that I find a foundation that really holds up beautifully. And I have to say that, you know, I'm curious to try in the future. I am going to try these two independent of each other. I think using them together really kind of helped just hold everything together. So, but anyways, I like it. I'm really impressed. So for those of you who are interested, that is my opinion on the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. So I'd like to try the Power Fabric next too and compare it to this as well and see how it wears, but I'm pretty impressed. So anyways, just wanted to let you guys know my final thoughts on that. And I have some more foundation reviews coming. I purchased one from Lancome that's, you know, some more luxury foundations, and then I have some drugstore foundations that I'm going to be trying out too. So if you like my over 40 series, keep an eye out because there's going to be more coming. And I also have a review coming up on the Milk Makeup Blur Stick in my over 40 foundation, or my over 40 series. So that should be coming probably within the week or so. But anyways, I hope you guys are doing well wherever you're at in life. Life's treating you good. If you're having struggles, you're getting through them and persevering. And for those of you that are in the path of Irma and those of you who have just suffered the wrath of Harvey, I wish you all well. You're in my prayers. And boy, I'll tell you, when I saw that Irma, I think is how it's pronounced, had gone to a hurricane, I got a bad feeling about it, you guys. I don't know. I sure hope that, I don't know. I just have a really bad feeling about this hurricane season. I have a feeling that, it's only Tuesday right now and, it's quite a ways off, but I just have a really bad feeling that Irma's gonna smack dead right into Florida. So I sure hope that's not the case, but, if it starts heading towards Florida, you guys get out of the way. I mean, I know people want to stay behind and protect their property, but you know what? Everything can be rebuilt. As long as there's life goes on. So don't forget that. I love you guys. Please subscribe and like this video if you like watching my Over 40 series. And until next time, I love you. Bye!